Hi everyone, it's Sally here from Strength for Dance, and we're going to talk a little bit about planning your strength training programs. Now, everything you need to know is here in my book, Your Body, Your Tool, Your Career. And this is all in Chapter 10, Level 4, Strength. I've been very lucky to train under some amazing minds and mentors over the years. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is called the 4Q system from the Institute of Motion and Michol Dalcourt. I've been lucky enough to actually train in person with him. He was the inventor of Viper, which if you watch my channel, you know I really like as a piece of equipment. Some of your essential concepts that you need to get hold of is that the body thrives on variability. As a dancer, and just as a general moving person, you need to be constantly varying what you're doing. You need to be working in all directions. You need to do some slow work, some quick work, some movement in a straight line, some movement in a different direction, working with your body weight and working with external load. This is how to truly develop a robust body. With the 4Q system, and we're going to talk about the neuromuscular fascial system, so that's training the muscles, the nerves, and the fascia. There's a really simple way to do your planning. What we look at in the four corners of this 4-point model is linear loaded. So that means we're working in a straight line, predominantly sagittal, but with external load. Then next to that, we have linear movement loaded training or loaded movement training. And that's moving in all directions, but with an external load. Then at the bottom two corners, we have linear unloaded. So that again is predominantly sagittal plane, but with no external weight. And then we have unloaded movement training, which again, all three directions without any external load. Now, when you do your training planning, if you can make sure you have something in all those four corners, you know you're going to have more of a varied and holistic training plan. So an example, in the loaded linear, the kind of exercises we would see here are quite traditional looking things. So it might be a chest press, might be a lat pull down in the gym, it might be bicep curls with a rear lunge, you might be doing tricep kickbacks, squat and overhead press. So those kind of exercises, and you can usually load them a little bit heavier so you can start to get good fascial and muscle changes because you can carry a heavier load. In the movement loaded, we're looking more at twisting or side movements, corners, lunges. You'll see me do a lot of those in my videos. That's where I do quite a lot of my training. And again, we can move around a medicine ball, the Viper, the bands, a kettlebell, anything. In the bottom two, we have our linear unloaded, or that's body weight training. So that could be push-ups, it could be your traditional mat Pilates, it might be a certain type of yoga, or we might even have cycle work, because that's quite linear and you're not carrying anything. Then over on the unloaded movement, we could have things like TRX training, because you're moving your body weight around. It might be animal flow, might be a more dynamic yoga with lots of twists. Anything where you're moving your body weight around but going in lots of different directions. As dancers, we need all four, but predominantly we will be in the movement training component just because of how agile we need to be when we're training as dancers. Another way that you can look at setting up your training program is in circuits. So you could address these four corners, but as a circuit. So you would do a certain amount of reps, move on to the next exercise, move on to the next exercise. That's often how I develop my plans. I might have about 8 to 10 exercises, and I move around them with a little break. Now, with regards to your breaks, you could do an exercise that just addresses the lower limbs. So it might be predominantly a lunge. So I tire my legs out, and then I might come to my upper body and come into a loaded chop. Now that is linear loaded, followed by loaded movement. because I'm now in transverse plane. Then I might bring into play a crawling drill, which would be my unloaded movement. And then I might bring into play some push-ups, which would be my unloaded linear. And then I might do that as a circuit. Another option you have is to do 2 exercises together and go back and forth and do your 3 to 4 sets like that. So again, I might do squatting. I might do a back squat. Then I might couple that up with an overhead press. So while my arms are moving hard, my legs are getting a relative rest. And then I work my legs hard and my arms get a relative rest. If you're doing full body exercises, so let's say you're doing a big squatting or a side lunge, chopping drill like that, everything's working, it's a higher metabolic demand. So you want to have a little pause, allow your body to recover more before you go on to the next exercise. You want to be able to drop your breathing rate, drop your heart rate, be able to talk easily again. If you really want to work one area of the body, you can back-to-back that area. So you might then work with squats, followed by lunges, followed by single leg squats, followed by a curtsy movement and out. So again, you're just really taxing those tissues. And again, remember with our training, we want to go by the same rules of overload and specificity. So in order to get change in your system, in any system, you need to push it forwards. This is your positive stress. You need to stress the body enough to make change. So if you're just doing the same thing that you've been doing for the last 6 months, you're not going to be eliciting much change in the system. We also need our movement to be specific to our outcome. So if I'm constantly sitting down in my training session, doing a seated chest press at the gym, followed by a seated leg press at the gym, that's not necessarily going to carry over and help me if I want to then be doing a big side jump, a tour, or something dynamic in a contemporary class. They're different, and they stress the nervous system and muscle alignment differently as well. So when you look to do your training programs, just remember this needs to be outside of your dance training. Your dance training's up here, it's highly skilled. This is about creating a strong, robust body so you can go into your class fully fueled and capable of anything. You need to plan these sessions in throughout your week. Think about when your busy days are, so maybe that's not a very good day to do your training. You must make sure you have enough time to recover. And remember the all-important thing, sleep well. You will only get stronger when you sleep, rest, and recover. I hope this has given you some ideas on how to think about planning your training programs. And if you want more information on the whole body and creating a strong, robust body for dancing, get my online book, which is full of all the information from my training, plus like a bajillion videos as well. Enjoy strength training. Move for life.